You do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. Isn't that a remarkable thought? We planned out tomorrow, but we don't know what our life will be like tomorrow. You have no knowledge of what tomorrow will bring. You do not know what your life will be like tomorrow. Nor do I. Suddenly it makes sense, doesn't it? Oh, James, writing way ahead of his time. Why? You're just a vapor. You're just a vapor. Why? You're just a vapor. You're just a vapor. Shakespeare writes in Hamlet, Macbeth, he writes, if you can look into the seeds of time and say which grain will grow and which will not, speak then to me. No wonder there's such a run on astrologists. Stupid game plan in life. Guide your life by the stars. They don't know either. But we long to know people who know tomorrow. I got a friend who lives in Santa Barbara Canyon. He said, Chuck, when the fire hit, it came like a 50-mile-an-hour flood of flames. He says, I looked up and I saw the smoke and I started making a list. I called my dog over and I got my dog next to me and I'm putting my list together, and I got out of there with a car, a dog, and my list. Lost everything else. You don't know what your life's going to be like tomorrow. So, what do we do? Let me give you some things to write down. I've said one of them over and over again, so you hopefully have put that down. You have no knowledge of what tomorrow holds. We have a church out in Frisco filled with people who didn't know what their year held. Before the year started, they didn't know that by the end of the year they'd be unemployed. Whole bunch of white-collar workers unemployed now. Not just white-collar workers. One lady didn't know she'd face serious surgery. When they cut her open, they just sewed her back up. It's inoperable. Healthy looking, attractive, a young grandmother. One family didn't know they'd lose the man of the house. 50-year-old pilot with Delta. Layover in Amsterdam. He and his co-pilot friend, flown together for years, went to school together. Decided on their layover, because you have to lay over to get your sleep back so you feel okay to fly back across the pond. And while they're in Amsterdam, this pilot friend of mine and the co-pilot they say to each other, let's go bike riding. Boom, hit by a bullet train, gone. Could hardly find their remains. The family didn't know they'd be without a man of the house. This isn't dramatic stuff where we made a movie out of. This is real stuff. I can give you names to every one of these people. It goes on. There was a family that discovered their 15-year-old son is now on drugs. At the top of his class. Got a drug problem he's kept secret for 2 years. He also been messing around with pornography. All that's come to light. The other side is we have a couple that thought they'd be single forever, and they've fallen in love with each other, and they can hardly wait to get married in April. They didn't even know each other at the beginning of last year. How exciting is that? I got a pastor friend who was at Schofield Memorial Church, and he's now in Fargo, North Dakota. Ah! And I'm driving along in my truck yesterday, and I hear in Fargo it's 37 below zero. I prayed for Matthew St. John. We have friends from that church, or his friends that are from that church, that were visiting our church a few Sundays ago, and they took my hand like they were about to pass out, and they said, "Pray for our new pastor. He has no idea what winter is like." I mean, we shut down schools when it gets to 20 in Dallas. 37 below zero. I could go on. You do not know. How about finances? How about finances? I would like to announce today that we're going to take that 200,000 surplus and give it to all the students. I would like to announce that. We're not going to do that, but I would like to announce that today. Yancey wrote this on the last page of the January 09 issue. Listen to this. As analysts began picking through the ruins of the financial collapse, they started dusting off old-fashioned words like greed, moderation, integrity, and trust. When executives line their pockets at the expense of employees and shareholders, when banks make speculative loans with little likelihood of payback, when borrowers walk away with good faith contracts and the system collapses. A functioning economy is held together by a thin web of trust. If you doubt that, visit a country where you have to pay bribes to get action, and you must count your change after every purchase. Then this. The same week that global wealth shrank by $7 trillion, Zimbabwe's inflation rate hit a record 231 million%. In other words, if you had saved $1 million Zimbabwean dollars on Monday, by Tuesday it's worth $1.58. You have no knowledge of what tomorrow will bring. Father, thank you for perspective that only you give at times like this. You have an amazing way of never decreasing our joy, but reminding us of the brevity of life and the necessity of living it. Thank you for the warnings against pride and presumption, against procrastination. Help me to live this better than I could ever preach it. Thank you for the year. By your grace, we'll live it. And if it's in your will, we'll see the end of it. Thank you that it's well with our souls because of Christ.